All right. What's up, everybody? It's DC and Lake here for episode 3 of No Huddle Hoops, where today we're going to talk about Auburn claiming 7 national championships this week, SEC going to a 9-game schedule in 2026, Kansas State playing Iowa State at 11 a.m. today as college football is officially back this season. We're going to talk about week 1 matchups between LSU and Clemson on Saturday, August 31st at 7 p.m. Ohio State versus Texas at 11 a.m. And then Notre Dame and Miami, one of the sleeper games of the weekend on Labor Day on Monday. But first up, we're going to talk about the SEC standings and predictions. So, Lake, what are your SEC standings and predictions?
Now, of course, I'm going to go with my Alabama Crimson Tide, led by Kalen DeBoer, head coach, and Ty Simpson at quarterback. Ty Simpson is a pure pocket passer. Kalen DeBoer is a quarterback whisperer. So I think he's going to be able to mentor Ty Simpson into not necessarily a Heisman-level quarterback, but a quarterback that can lead Alabama to a place that Jalen Milroe just could not. Jalen Milroe's skill set just couldn't lead us to the playoffs, but I think Ty Simpson is finally going to get us back to grace. What do you think, Devin?
I'm going to go Georgia winning the SEC once again at 11-1. I think they return the best roster in the SEC. You could say Texas, but I'm going to go Georgia is going to compete with them, and then Georgia's always good. You can never really count Georgia out. The only question mark is going to be their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, who started a few games last season versus Notre Dame in the playoff. He didn't look great, but he was able to will them to win the SEC championship last season versus Texas. So that is my pick for the SEC.
Let's jump into the ACC championship pick. My pick is the Clemson Tigers, who I see finishing either at 11-1 or 12-0. They're going to be the team to beat, led by Dabo Swinney and Heisman potential Cade Klubnik. Everybody's saying, "Oh, Cade Klubnik's going to have this great year, a great year here, a great year there." Like, people really think Cade Klubnik is going to be the best quarterback this season. So we're going to see if that is true. I don't think he's going to be I think Drew Aller is going to be the best quarterback in college this season. I know you don't like that pick, but Clemson, they could really make a run this year. They're definitely a national championship-esque team this year. They made the playoffs last year as the 12th seed, got bounced in the first round, but hey, we're going to see what they do in the week ACC schedule.
I'm also going to go Clemson. I agree with everything you except for that garbage Drew Aller take. Okay. But Clemson is the best team in the ACC. There's no doubt about it. They have a great roster. A lot of experienced guys on that roster. Expect them to do some damage in the college football playoffs and as well as the ACC. They have a very weak schedule, but the teams they will play, like LSU and Notre Dame, I believe, they'll be a really, really good team this year and expect a lot out of them. And I expect them to be the number 1 seed in the college football playoff as well.
I do too. Let's go ahead and jump into our Big 12 Conference Championship prediction. Now, this one might be a little hot. We're going to go, me and Devin both picked Texas Tech. As Devin told me before we came on, they have a loaded roster. So we're going to see how they're going to fare in the Big 12. It's wide open this year. Anybody could win it. What do you think?
Very wide open, and I agree with that. They got a lot of NIL money from a donor, and they were able to go out and get some pieces for the roster, so they'll really be able to compete in the Big 12. But like you said, it's very wide open. You don't know who is going to be good. You don't know who's going to be bad. Arizona State basically came out of nowhere last year to win the championship. But I'm going to go Texas Tech. I think they're the safest pick out of anybody, and they have the best roster in the Big 12 this season.
Let's go ahead and jump into the Big 10 now. Ohio State is my pick, fresh off the national championship. What are you thinking?
Ohio State goes undefeated as well. They also win the Big 10. I don't think there's any other way you could win it being undefeated. They're a great team. However, Clemson's better. I think Clemson, they put it all together, and they actually compete for a national championship this year. Ohio State, like I said, really good team. Can they put it all together? What can Julian Sand do? This is his first year starting. They have a lot of weapons, such as Jeremiah Smith, and I expect a lot out of them. And I don't like Ohio State at all. I expect a lot out of them. I expect them to almost repeat this year. Ooh. I really do.
They can really make that. That's not a crazy expectation to have. Now we're going to jump into the American Athletic Conference, in which that's the conference I think will be having that bye into the second round of the college football playoff, because they got to pick the 3 from Power 4 and they got to give a bye to a Group of 4 school. I think Tulane is going to be that Group of 4 school to get the bye. I think Tulane is going to go undefeated this year. They have a weak schedule, playing a weak conference, and they have a great roster. I don't see them going far in the college football playoff, but I do see them making it and getting that bye like Boise State did last year. And the Tulane Green Wave, home state team down in New Orleans. So hopefully, just for that state pride, they can go ahead and get that championship of the American Athletic. What's your pick?
Well, I'm gonna go Memphis. Hey, shout out to all y'all in Memphis. They have a pretty good roster every year. They compete for a bowl almost every year. I do think, however, they don't make the college football playoff. They're like a 9-3 type of team. I think they just miss out on it. But Memphis is going to be a good team this year. Expect a lot out of them, but that's all I have to say for the American.
And to round out the conference champions for the Group of 4 schools in the Conference USA, we've got Western Kentucky University. In the MAC, we've got Ohio. In the Mountain West, we've got Boise State. And in the Sun Belt Conference, we're going to go with Marshall. And now we're going to jump into our team playoff predictions. We're going to go with Clemson at the 1 seed. Both of us have picked Clemson at the 1, going 12-0. But after that, I'm going to go with Alabama at 11-1. That's my squad. Ohio State at 10-2 for the 3 seed. And for the 4th seed, they're going to get that bye as a Group of 4 school. Tulane Green Wave going in at 12-0 to get that 4th seed. I don't really think you can lose a game and, get the bye. Tulane's got to go undefeated if they want that. At the 5 seed, I'm going to go with Texas. At the 6 seed, I'm going to go with Penn State. Both those teams going 10-2. At the 7th seed, I'm going to go with Oregon, also going 10-2. And then at the 8, Notre Dame at 11-1. At the 9, Texas Tech at 10-2. At the 10, I'm going to go with Kansas State at 9-3, making it at that 10 seed.
9-3, wow.
11th spot, finishing 9-3 as always. LSU claiming that 11th spot, and for 12, just sneaking in Miami at 10-2. What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna go Clemson, Ohio State undefeated, 12-0. No debate about it. Georgia's gonna go 11-1. I got Notre Dame going undefeated. I got Texas Tech. I'm sorry, y'all. I got Texas Tech at 4, and I got Notre Dame at 5 going undefeated. I got Texas, Penn State, Oregon, and Boise State all going 11-1, and that's all from 6 to 9. And at the 10 seed, I got Miami just going at 10-2. I got Alabama, Lake Squad going 10-2, and I have my squad LSU finishing 10-2 and getting that last spot in the college football playoffs this season.
And my national championship pick is going to be my Alabama Crimson Tide.
My national championship pick is going to be the Clemson Tigers.
And now we're going to jump in to Auburn claiming 7, not 5, not 6, but 7 national titles for their school program. The NCAA is not going to recognize these, but Auburn will, And if I was an Auburn fan, I'd recognize them too. I mean, you've been constantly mid through not your whole SEC tenure, but through your recent years. And they've won 2 NCAA recognized championships, but now they're adding 7 more that they're going to recognize. And 2004, you have some merit. The BCS didn't pick Auburn, and which is strange because they went 13-0
in the SEC.
In the SEC, and they weren't picked to play in that championship. So I could see why you claim 2004, but the other 6, that's shaky.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider Auburn a 9-time national champion?
No.
No one's considering them 9-time national champions. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to just say this. Auburn, you're mid, and you've always been mid outside of 2013 and 2010. But Auburn's a joke for claiming these championships. Now, I get what you're saying, but they're a joke because most of these national championships were won at a time where our grandparents weren't even born. It was going on in World War I. And they're now claiming these championships. It's kind of crazy to me for the most mid-SEC school there is. But we all know they're going to go 6-6 again, probably.
Yep.
They're going to go 6-6.
Losing to all the other, all they do is get spanked every year.
Yeah.
That's Auburn football, classic Auburn football.
Right.
How about the SEC 9-game schedule that's going to eliminate that these stupid FCS matchups that we see in late November as kind of just snooze fest? Because, like, who's going to tune in to LSU versus Citadel or Alabama versus Mercer?
They're boring. They're boring to me. We know they're going to be blowouts. You might get one upset here and there, but that's very far in between. I like it. It gives us a lot more SEC games. People want to see more SEC games to watch. I've heard there's going to be 3 permanent opponents, so it's going to be a lot. It's going to be very difficult to determine what teams will play each other, but it will make the SEC playing field a lot even than it used to be. But yeah, that's how I feel.
That's okay. That's a pretty good, assessment. The SEC 9-game schedule is going to make it a lot more competitive. We all love SEC football. It just means more. Let's go ahead and jump on to our thoughts for the marquee matchup, starting with Kansas State versus Iowa State, which, as we're filming, was going to start in 30-minute Central Time. Mm-hmm. So right now, I don't think Iowa State deserves to be in the top 25, and I hope Kansas State beats them by at least 14 to knock them out. It might take a little bit more than a 14-point loss to knock Iowa State out. I know they are the 22nd ranked team in the nation. So we're going to see how that's going to pan out. I think Kansas State wins by 14 points and knocks them out. What do you think?
I think it'll be a pretty close game. Kansas State will win by a touchdown. But Kansas State, like Lake said, they're always somewhat good. They're always like a 8 or 9 win team every year, in my opinion. But I think Kansas easily wins this one. But it will be by a touchdown. It'll be a close game.
Close game? Mm-hmm. What's the next game that's going to be popping up?
We got LSU versus Clemson.
That's going to be a great game.
Next Saturday at 6:30. They got Garrett Nussmeier, my Heisman pick, and probably the best quarterback in the nation returning. Man, it's going to be a good game. But unfortunately, my LSU Tigers, they're going to take that L versus Clemson. I just don't think Brian Kelly can get it done in big games. I got Clemson winning by a touchdown, 31-24.
I also agree. I think they win 30-27. Clemson does. But if Clemson was to lose a game and go 11-1, like I said they could, it'll be this one. But I don't think Brian Kelly, I think he's going to continue his streak of losing the first game every season, and then he's going to get their head in the game, and I think LSU is going to make the playoffs, just barely sneak in. But this is a test.
Absolutely.
If LSU wins this game, they might grab the SEC championship. Although I think it's very unlikely. LSU fans can hope that this could be their season to go out and win a national title. Mm-hmm. And I think that all depends on how this game pans out.
Correct.
Now let's go ahead and jump over to Ohio State versus Texas. Game being played somehow not at night in Ohio State.
And we talked about that last week as well, not being played at night. And I just think it's dumb. I think Texas is just scared to play at night. They don't want to test Arch at night, like you said. But Ohio State, they destroy Texas. I don't even see this being a close game. It has potential to be a great game, and a lot of people think that, but Ohio State runs away with this one.
Yeah, Ohio State, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Ohio State's going to pull it away as they are playing at home. Even if they weren't playing at home, I'd still pick Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're just a more experienced school. Arch Manning, we're going to see how he, it's going to be a test. Like, this is his first true test, and it's happening week 1. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to be a little bit rattled, and it's going to be sort of the reason why they lose this game. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll lose by about a touchdown. 3 to a touchdown. I think it'll be a pretty close game, but to round it all out, Notre Dame versus Miami.
Man, it's gonna be a good game. Notre Dame, as you know, they're gonna play defense. They're gonna run the ball with Jeremiah Love about 20, 30 times, and that's what makes Notre Dame football. They love to run the ball and they love to play defense. But however, Miami, they're a pass-heavy team. They're going to throw the ball a lot with Carson Beck. So that'll be a test for him, too, to play a big-time team that just made the national championship last season in Notre Dame, who I think is going to go undefeated this season. But I think Notre Dame pulls out with the win. It's going to be a great game. Expect a lot of scoring. It's going to be a good game, man.
Yeah, Carson Beck is taking the helm at quarterback at Miami, just going, away from Georgia. Kirby Smart is not a good quarterback developer.
He's not.
We all know that, but Miami is. So we're going to see how they can do. I think Carson Beck's got a lot of potential. I think he's a Heisman candidate, if that's a crazy thing to say, especially coming off of last
year.
Come on, man. But, you can insult Beck's playing style. You can insult his appearance. Mm-hmm. And, but, he has an amazing build. He has an amazing build. They're going to coach him up, and he's going to be great. He's going to, do things that with Kirby Smart we never thought he could do. But I do think Notre Dame pulls the win out in this one. I think it's going to be one of Miami's 2 losses. But I do think Carson Beck is going to have an amazing game. I think he's going to have an amazing season, and we're going to see how both these teams pan out in the long run.
Absolutely.
But that's going to wrap it up for No Huddle Hoops episode 3. Thank you for joining us. We'll
Thank you.
see you guys here next Sunday. Peace.
Peace.